In episode number 323 of the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, we cover the official title to the Birds of Prey movie.
We also have the information on My Movies pre-order ticket sales according to Fandango.
And our comic book highlight this week is Archie number 700.
All of this and so much more on today's show.
Hello and welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke every single week, ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. I am the almighty Emperor Kelli.
And I am Darth Vader.
And those of you joining us for the very first time, welcome to the show. The way we format is first we start out with some news, then we have our Brocat block where we talk about our week, our Patreon shoutouts, and finally our comic book highlight.
Starting things off today with some video game news, seemed like it was obvious that Nintendo would announce an N64 classic before this holiday season given the trend that we've gotten in previous years. But Nintendo of America's president, Reggie Fils-Aimé, spoke out about this idea in an interview with Kotaku.
Quote, I am dumb because there isn't one. That's not really the quote. The quote really reads, quote, we were clear when we did the first two classic series that, for us, these were limited time opportunities that were a way for us as a business to bridge from the conclusion of Wii U as a hardware system into the launch of Nintendo Switch. So while consumers may have been anticipating something, we view these as limited time opportunities. We've also now been very clear that as the consumer looks forward to engaging with our classic content, that is going to happen more and more with the subscription service, end quote.
See, that's the key, the very end of that. I'm sorry I included the whole fucking quote in these show notes because that last sentence is all you really needed. Based on what they're telling us. So Reggie was saying, well, we were just trying to bridge the gap between these systems because we didn't have a virtual console. And really, and this is when we found out, it's because we've been working on this subscription service model where we can say, why take your money once when we can take it every single month? Yes, for a smaller amount, but overall, they're going to make much more as people get their online subscription to the Nintendo Switch, which then includes these particular games.
But here's the thing. I don't think they're going to be more successful with this. I really don't, if they're re-releasing older games. And this is why. So the large part of this classic is for the nostalgia, right? Mm-hmm. You want to see the little old console, which they make on a miniature version, which is cute as hell. And then you want to play on the original controller, which they also recreate for you, right? Mm-hmm. So you're telling me that I can have my N64 games, but I have to play it on the Switch. I don't want that. I'm going to suck at Mario Kart, even though it's the N64 one on the Switch, because it's not my terrible for-your-hands controller.
You do realize this is Nintendo, right? They're going to sell you, here's how they're going to sell you this. They're going to sell you the subscription service, $10 a month, Kelli, and you will get access to these N64 games and these NES and Super NES, and then every month we'll add 2 or 3 more for each console. And to play these, we are now selling a separate controller adapter for the N64, one for the Super NES, one for the NES, one for the GameCube.
No, I still don't want it.
They're gonna do it.
But I don't want it. If they had said, I'm releasing an N64 Classic and it's this cute little N64 with a controller, done, sold. I'm only gonna play 3 games on the thing, but that's what I want. But now I have to continually pay you to play these games? Yep. I'm just going to bust out my old N64 and play it then. No.
So I see what you're saying. It's not they're not hitting the market that is nostalgia. They're instead trying to aim for the current gamers that already have a Nintendo Switch.
And these current gamers don't want that nostalgia, right? I mean, there's some.
A lot of them are buying it anyway.
Granted, there's some, but again, I want that nostalgia. I want to see the N64 there when I plug it in. I hope if they ever make this that the little flap works just so I can blow into it. Even though it's not going to do anything.
I remember with the NES cartridges, whenever they didn't work, my cousin would show me, like, no, you got to get all the dust off. And it turns out many years later, we know that it's actually worse for them.
Yeah.
Yet it would work every time. Like
it does.
You would have to clean it out, put it in, and then after 3 or 4 times, it would actually start working again.
I don't even know how I didn't break my N64, because I used to like put it in, then you got to hit it real hard. That's how I always did it. And eventually it worked. Or you turn it on and off a bunch of times. Moral of the story, if they release an N64 Classic, I will purchase it. $60, purchase, done. This subscription crap, no, I'm not about it.
Let us know what you think, Brocat Core. Should they have done an N64 Classic as well and finished it off there? Or is the subscription model more handy for them from a business perspective? And we're now heading into some comic book news, and then we'll finish off with movie news for DC. And is there a bit of Marvel news? There's a bit of Sony Marvel news.
In the line of New Age of Superheroes comics, DC has canceled Sideways with a final issue releasing in February.
Do you remember which one Sideways was? It is their Spider-Man, the one where he opens up portals. He has the blue and gray
weirdo.
suit.
I read like half an issue, and I said, meh, which is probably why they're canceling it.
The solicitation reads, quote, "Secrets are revealed and new mysteries emerge as Derek uncovers his mother's killer and the origins of his powers in this, the final chapter of his story for now." A lot of people are predicting that they are going to instead put all of the heroes, the Damage, their Ghost Rider, the Spidey Man, whatever you can call this, they're going to put them all into one team-up book and then instead try to sell it that way. It's really bizarre. It's another case, yet again, of people are saying they want new characters. They don't just want another Batman book, yet the sales don't say that. The sales aren't telling DC or Marvel that we want new characters. We're instead saying, we'll just keep buying Batman. Thanks, though.
I would say an argument with that, though, is are the stories really comparable to what they're putting out with Batman and these other superheroes right now? No, because they know that's where their money is and that's what they're spending money on.
It is a big risk to suddenly say, hey, Tom, why don't you go ahead and do this Damage character, and we're going to pay you that premium price regardless. And yeah, that's not going to work. They're not going to take that risk.
An example that I'll use in that, right? So, for example, Saga. I'll always use Saga as an example. Characters that nobody knows shit about, right, when it first starts. Mm-hmm. But you have such great writing and character design behind it that you're hooked instantly. If you did that same kind of thing with a new superhero, then yes, you would hook people with that also. But again, that's such a big risk. They're not going to take that chance.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, is a lot of these writers, that is their pet project. That is a passion to go out and do their saga, to go out and, and have their own creative story that they probably own more of than they would if they signed up with Marvel or DC. So that's why they'll just instead go to Image Comics and put their story out there without it being an existing character or someone that exists in a current universe. The other issue as well is you're also tied into, well, I want to use that villain, but okay, but you can't do these things with it, and you can't kill off that character, and you can't do this. So there's so much more creative freedom when you go indie, and that's where you're seeing stories like Saga. It's not that it's really tough to do a new superhero character with Marvel or DC because there's so much going against it. There's the problem of creative freedom. There's the problem of, do they even want to do these characters? Do they want to put someone like Tom King and overpay them to write something like Damage? It just simply doesn't work. You just got to hope that one of these things sticks, and maybe the team-up book is going to be the answer. Who knows?
Like I said in the very beginning, I read half an issue. It wasn't for me. If this was your favorite character, if you were really enjoying this series, they did say that was it for now. It doesn't mean that it's forever. Maybe we'll see a revival in the future.
Continuing on with Sony's success with Venom, we've now, because people went out and they saw Venom and they supported it, they are building off of that success. And they have now set 2 release dates for 2 untitled Marvel movies in 2020 for July 10th and October 2nd.
Variety is reporting that these are the Morbius and a Venom sequel.
October 2nd is also a reported slot for a Disney MCU movie, so that date is likely to move as we get closer.
I don't want it to move. I want Venom 2 and a Marvel MCU movie to release on the same day, and I want Venom 2 to do better.
It's going to be tough. It might happen. It's already doing so well, and traditionally the sequels end up bringing in even more people. It'll be fun to see how well Venom 2 does. I'm rooting for Morbius now. I don't know if you saw Jared Leto recently put out a tweet of him completely shaving that giant beard that he had to get ready for Morbius. And I'm like, all right, man, I'm in. They got me again, as we said before. Tom Hardy, okay, now I care about this Venom movie. Jared Leto, all right, now I care about Mobius.
Speaking of large beards, why do women find them attractive?
You're not asking one. I could not tell you why.
Large, like normal beards. Like your beard is very attractive. It's nice. It's well taken care of. But when it's like cereal bowl or like catching your lunch, no, not about it. Glad he shaved it. Glad it's gone. You know what I think of Morbius? Who cares? But I'll still watch it.
Nice. Good. You should support it. You should support Sony and the Marvel movies they're making.
I will support Sony and their Marvel movies just so that I can laugh at MCU movies.
What? How are you going to laugh at them?
Because I could be like, ha, this one's making more money.
I laugh at the sheep because they're like, ooh, that's Sony again.
That's Sony.
There was that timeline tweet that someone put up of bloggers going, Venom will never make any money. Makes a shit ton of money. Yeah, but they will never make a sequel. They end up announcing a sequel, and because of that, Morbius. Mm-hmm. People want Venom. People want Sony to do Marvel movies, and they have done well. And thanks to China as well, they have now even more surpassed that Forbes report of comparing the money that Disney tried to make with Spider-Man Homecoming. And then on the other side, you got Eddie Brock.
So it sounds like we will be there for both of these new Sony movies.
We're about an episode behind on Titans.
Yes.
On the DC Universe app. And because of this new arc, people have been asking about Jason Todd more than usual. That character is back in people's minds if they haven't been reading Red Hood and the Outlaw. And through a DC Universe poll, fans were asked if you could rewrite the history of 1988's Batman Death in the Family poll, would Jason Todd live or die? To anyone yeah, go ahead.
I'm just going to say, before we tell people the answer, I would like to hear our thoughts first.
Well, to anyone not familiar with 88's poll, back then they did ask readers, do you want Jason Todd to live or die? He was a character, a Robin that was, as hated as Damian Wayne, for example, when he came about. And readers overwhelmingly said, yes, kill off Robin, and Joker took a crowbar to him and fucking murdered him. And you didn't see the character until many years later, and then he returned. I think it was in the late 90s or early 2000s. I want to say it was early 2000s in maybe it was the Hush storyline. Now he's his own character with Red Hood. And even a new iteration of Red Hood made it into the video game of Arkham Knight as the Arkham Knight. Definitely came back in a big bad way, but deep down still a Robin because he works under Batman's rules when he does work with Batman. Our thoughts on Jason Todd, though, if we can go back and not kill him, I would still vote to fucking kill him because we got this, because we got the resurrection with the Lazarus Pit. Would we still have Tim Drake? Would we still have Damian Wayne if Jason Todd had not died initially?
That's exactly my thoughts too. What we got as an aftermath of all of that was still, I mean, it's part of who Batman is now, right? Granted, you could argue, well, what would have happened if he did stay alive? And maybe that would have been better. You don't know, right? But we did get to see, that fallout with the family and how that affected everybody. And I think it made Batman a greater Batman now that he works that much harder to make sure that this never happens again, right? And just, I would argue the same with Damian Wayne. Damian's one of my favorite Robins, right? But if he had never died, then we wouldn't have gotten that great silent issue. We wouldn't have gotten some of the amazing moments that we did. And I think people like Jason Todd more now because he died.
Also, that amazing moment in the resurrection with Batman using that apocalypse suit and blasting the shit out of Darkseid. Like where he fires off all this energy that's in the shape of a bat symbol because of course, and it throws Darkseid back, and you just see a burned bat signal on his body and on the stone behind him. And I can't remember. It's been a few years since I've read it, but wasn't there a word bubble that said "let him go" or something? Maybe not, but it could have just been that he got knocked out by Batman. I just know that Darkseid's in love with Batman, but who isn't? It's the second time that Batman's beaten Darkseid. And Darkseid's just like, this man. I've never been branded with a bat. The first time. Stop complimenting The healers come over and they're like, let me put this up. No, leave it. It's to learn a lesson.
Yeah, that's what it is, Dark Side. But what did the people vote, Daniel? Did they want Jason Todd to live or die?
So in this new poll, if they could rewrite history, with nearly 80% of the votes, fans said they would allow Jason Todd to live.
Lame. You guys are probably the same 80% that voted to make him die, and now you feel bad about it.
Jason Todd recently made his debut in Titans as Robin, as played by Curran Walters. So a lot of that could be, yeah, I think so too. And we haven't yet seen the episode titled Jason Todd, but from what people are saying, it's an amazing performance, captures the spirit of the character. And I think because of that, he has garnered a lot of those fans, and they are skewed to vote, yeah, let him live. I like him right now. But I think it's anyone that's a Jason Todd fan right now because of what he became with Red Hood, and you voted yes to save him, you're kind of contradicting yourself there, because you're now voting to remove the thing that made you a fan of the character.
Like exactly. I do have a question about Titans. I'm sure that we have people who listen to the show who are fans of the show, right?
We got DC Belugas in the audience. That's most of the Brocat core.
As well they should be. So anybody out there who's maybe a bigger fan of Titans than I am, I'm just very curious where the chemistry between Robin and Starfire began. Because they went from 0 to 100 real fast.
They did. They really did. Like, they were working together.
Yeah.
Which was neat, but I don't recall seeing any hint of, oh, there's a little bit of a spark there. There's some attraction.
They took one shot of tequila, and then that was it.
Tequila's all it takes.
I guess. That's my only question. I'm still very confused and a little uncomfortable.
Let Kelli know on Twitter at @PalpaKelli. You recently hit 90 followers, by the way.
I did.
Almost to 100.
90 followers. I'm trying to upload a fun video for you guys right now, but it's just not working.
Over to the DCEU side of things for this week. Harley Quinn live-action actor Margot Robbie has revealed the Birds of Prey title on Instagram through an image of handwriting on the official script. Did you see the image yet?
I didn't see the image, but you did tell me about this title, which I think is a brilliant.
The title is Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
That's the way to do it. Put Harley Quinn in the title, all the tickets sold.
I'm going to go ahead and do your homework for you on the show notes and bring up the image so you can actually properly talk about this.
It's perfect. It looks so cute.
Something people pointed out is they misspelled DC Comics, and they have DC comic characters. It's a script. These things happen. Right. But I thought that was kind of a weird thing to not read over and proofread, I guess.
Before you post it on Twitter for everybody.
What have the MCU sheep said, Kelli? What do you think they said about this? Because it's always magic with it. You never really know how they're going to criticize something that you can't really criticize.
What a weird name.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's what they said. They're like, it's too long. Can't market that.
I think it markets itself.
I think they're jealous because their Avengers 5 or 6 still doesn't have a title, and they've been begging the Russo brothers to...
I want them to give it the longest title ever so they can be like, it's perfect. Avengers 5, Return of Ultron, and his buddy... What's his buddy's name with the gauntlet?
Thanos?
And Thanos, and they destroy the world together and then get ice cream after. It's amazing.
Nominated Best Picture.
Create a new category.
Best title, longest title.
Best title ever.
Them and that fucking title, man. They really want that Avengers title as if it's going to tell them everything of the fucking movie.
I mean, this title did tell us a lot about the movie.
It's going to focus on, I think, Harley Quinn.
I think it's going to focus on Harley Quinn's separation from the Joker and then ease into the Gotham City Sirens movie. Boom!
Well, now we know that they've pretty much shelved the Gotham City Sirens movie. David Ayer has not spoken out about it. The rumor is that they've actually reworked it into Birds of Prey, I believe.
Who am I?
The PalpaKelli?
I am unshelving that shit.
You're going to call Jeff?
Hashtag unshelved.
You're going to call my buddy?
I am. Why don't you call your buddy? He's your buddy.
Because I want to wait and see. Like, maybe this script might be...
You need to call him and be like, listen, Jeff, my wife, she says you got to get this. She's going crazy, Jeff.
The title was also confirmed via The Hollywood Reporter. A lot of people were doubting that this was actually the title, and it was just kind of like a parody, fun thing that Margot was doing. But Hollywood Reporter did confirm it with someone at Warner Brothers.
This film is set to release February 7th, 2020.
Over to measuring the success that may be Aquaman. According to Fandango, Aquaman is outpacing Venom for first online day ticket sales. That's fucking insane.
Mm-hmm. Aquaman pre-sales have also topped the successful Mission Impossible Fallout's numbers.
That was another really good hit for Warner Brothers. Mm-hmm. I did not end up seeing that, but we did see Venom.
Who cares?
Now, one thing I will say is, I don't know, I could be wrong on this, but there wasn't as much anticipation leading into Venom. Instead, it was more of like, oh, I heard from a friend that it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I can see that.
And so then they went and saw it, and ticket sales kind of boomed after that, after word of mouth got out.
Here's the other thing with Aquaman, and it's just kind of a reality of the situation, right? So any superhero movie, and it's changed a little over the years, but any superhero movie, you kind of assume that mostly guys are going to go see it, right? That's just kind of the reality of the situation for the most part. But then they took Aquaman and they put you in it. And now you got the ladies wanting to go see it too. So now they're selling double the tickets.
That was the fucking key, Warner Brothers. I'm fucking telling you this shit.
Put them in there. Sell those tickets.
A lot of it, too, you got to remember, the Brokehead Core have also said, you know what, maybe they haven't seen anything in the DCU somehow, magically, but they're like, you know, I like that Daniel guy. I'm going to go see his movie. Yeah. Why not? I'll jump right into these. This will be my jumping on point.
All three of our followers were just like, yeah.
3 can make the difference. Did you not see some of these election results? Sometimes one person is all it takes.
This is very true.
Maybe one person was an extra ticket to top Venom. We have a quote here from Fandango managing editor Eric Davis, who said in a statement, quote,
Daniel's Aquaman is quickly becoming one of the more popular big-screen superheroes, and moviegoers are hungry to devour another film set within the DC cinematic universe. Not only does it appear to be the most ambitious DC Comics film to date from a visual effects perspective, but fans are anxious to see new female heroes played by Amber Heard and Nicole Kidman, as well as the first superhero film directed by the incredibly successful James Wan, end quote.
My movie is set to release on December 21st. How smart is this marketing tactic? I don't know if you've seen it. There's a tweet that they put out. It's a GIF. And you saw the first trailer where Aquaman is taking the guy in the submarine and he's pushing him up against the ceiling and then he drops him. There's a fight scene in which Nicole Kidman, Aquaman's mom, takes her trident and pushes up an ocean guy into the ceiling and drops him as well. So they spliced those two clips together and said, like mother, like son.
Ah, just like my baby.
Yes.
I think the way that they've marketed this film, the way they've put this film together has been incredibly smart, and obviously it's doing well for them. We see it in the pre-ticket sales. I think we're going to see it when the film releases and moving on forward. The amount of excitement that there is for this, not only from us DC belugas, but from the people over the MCU sheep, whatever. Everyone's excited for this movie, and as well they should be, right?
Yeah, I don't know what the difference has been this time with Aquaman compared to the previous movies. I don't know if people think that this is definitely a change in direction for him. I don't understand where that's coming from, but I know this was already in the works before Justice League even that fucking thing released. So it's not like this is a reaction to, oh shit, fucking Justice League happened. This is still something that was in the works while they were filming Justice League, over a year ago.
I think part of the thing too, part of the reason is how they created the character of Aquaman, how they wrote him, because I really enjoyed him in Justice League. He was probably one of my favorite characters in Justice League, and the way that he acted. And so I think that appeals to the MCU sheep because he's almost borderline Marvel. Like, I could see his character in a Marvel movie, right?
I can't. No, I can't.
Really?
I 100% cannot see that character in a Marvel. He would stick out like a fucking sore thumb. You got to remember, Aquaman has told like maybe 10 jokes. Each Marvel character has told 100 jokes per movie. I haven't seen Infinity War, and I bet you each of those characters tells 10 jokes each.
The moral of my story is I think he also appeals to the MCU sheep.
And Aquaman's not even... The kind of jokes he does aren't the fucking, my nipples and the turds. Like, that's not that kind of shit. Instead, he's saying, my man, running through this shit, riding on the goddamn Batmobile. Yeah! That is not a fucking, my asshole. Like,
I'm sorry that I offended you.
It's just, you were just objectively wrong. That was a wrong statement.
Okay.
And I needed to call you out for it.
I retract it. My statement is retracted.
I can see you saying maybe they think that it's like an MCU-ish character, and they're going to be tricked into that.
It's like an MCU character.
And my argument is, have you not fucking seen Batman v Superman or Justice League? All right, then, if you still think that's somehow an MCU character, you're out of your mind.
It's good that people are excited for it. Let's just leave it at that. Let's move on.
We will, of course, be seeing this on day one. After that controversial bit of news at the end there, let's head into our Brocat block, what Palpa Kelli and I had been doing this week. And of course, the big one is the November holiday. That is not Black Friday, although that is a huge one, but Thanksgiving.
Yes, we here in the U.S., I know we have a lot of listeners that are not in the U.S., but we celebrate Thanksgiving on the third Thursday in November.
Sometimes, I guess.
Sometimes.
It's never consistent, I don't think.
It's always on a Thursday.
Yeah,
because it's always Black Friday. Black Friday is the biggest shopping day afterwards. We're fortunate that both of our sides of the family do live locally, so we're able to celebrate with all of our family. Little Leo got to eat all the holiday things that he wanted. Really enjoyed that. That was my day.
Well, that was his first Thanksgiving, too, where it's not, oh, we're going to have some corn, we're going to have some pie, we're going to have some cottage cheese casserole. Here you go, Leo. Here's your bottle.
Here's your milk. Well, he was only 2 months old last year.
Right.
So,
and now he got to eat up his first proper Thanksgiving. Did not go as crazy as I thought he would. He was pretty much full all day.
But he's also not feeling well. So our little trooper is growing 6 teeth at once.
How many of those are the molars?
4 of them are molars, which are the worst. And then he's got 2 bottom teeth coming in. So he is a fussy baby, which makes me a fussy mommy. But he is a very unhappy baby. He's in a lot of pain, and it kind of hit its peak today. So his ears hurt. He didn't want to nap, so he's tired, and he doesn't feel well, and I'm trying to shove these green beans down his throat. He did enjoy his green beans.
He did. Yeah, and I'm going to have my Black Friday story next week. And if you have yours, definitely be sure to share it with us. I've already seen a lot of people on Discord tell us what they've been finding. Like, hey, I just left Target. Scott was just saying from Lazy Gaming Guys, he just got the Teen Titans Go movie for $10 on Blu-ray.
Yes.
And you and I ended up getting the Blade Runner 2049 on Blu-ray for $6.
And Baby Tylenol.
Yep, and baby, not on sale, but we needed it.
When we went to check out, the guy was like, oh, this is it? Like, people had like 4 TVs, and we're just like, yeah, Blade Runner and Baby Tylenol.
Just doing our weekly shopping,
soap.
Just making a stop.
Right? Just needed to pick this up. But for those of you who celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you had a good one. For those of you who don't, understand that we are still very thankful for you tuning in and for all you guys do for us.
Absolutely. Thankful for the support that you guys give us in keeping this hobby going, and in being our friend on Twitter, on Discord, wherever it is that you interact with us. And if you ended up working on Thanksgiving, thank you so much. We hope that you do get a day off soon, because we do know that this is the week where it gets insane with Black Friday. For me this week, I got 1 less day off. So that's one thing too. And it's going to happen. And a few years back, I didn't get any days off, and I had to work on Thanksgiving. So I am grateful that we did get Thanksgiving off together this year. I think it's only my second Thanksgiving that I have off. I don't know if you had it off last year.
Yes, because I was on maternity leave.
That's right.
I had every damn thing off last year.
You have in the note here, too, the new job that you, I guess,
you transferred.
You trained that.
I didn't transfer. I got cross-trained. So I had a lot of fun this last week. I've only ever worked in quick service, which is kind of like McDonald's style, right? You walk up, you order your food, you go back, and you find a seat. So I got to learn table service, which is your sit-down restaurants, essentially, where, you know, you get sat and people come up, take your order, and serve you, et cetera, et cetera. It is a crazy different world. Completely different. Like, I was sitting there in my little mind, and I was like, table service is going to be slow. It's going to be lame. I like working fast. You don't stop in table service, especially where I work at this particular restaurant. And it's a slower restaurant for the company that I work for, right? 2,000 people in a day. They're only open from 9 to 9. And in that 12 hours, they served 2,057 people. That is insane to me. Just like turning tables and da-da-da-da-da. So I learned a lot. I was exhausted. I walked 5 miles in one day, right? 5 miles in 7 hours just serving this food. But you know what? I was a fucking pro. These people were like, we're going to fire this other person, Kelli, and you can come work here. I'm like, I know you want that, but it's not going to happen. Because I was running out food. There's 70 tables in the restaurant, right? I learned 70 tables in a day. Like, I can tell you where all these tables are. Like, boom, there it is. And then we had to take out the food, right? And they're like, okay, Kelli, you take this one. I'm like, nah. And I had like 3 plates stacked, and I was like, here's your food. Run back. It was really cool. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about servers. I will never, I mean, not that I undertipped anyway, but I now understand how important tips are, right? Because I got to see it firsthand. I now understand how important it is to listen to your server when they say, I'm sorry, I can't just sit you at this table. You have to wait for your reservation, right? Like all this crazy intricate stuff that goes into running a table service location.
It's pretty insane. Yeah, when I served at, and it's not quite the restaurant that you were at, but IHOP and Steak and Shake for the years that I did, it is insane, especially on like a school night, on an after prom night or one of those nights, and you're working at, that was my IHOP one, and we were right down the street from a movie theater that I also worked at the same time. So when a big movie let out, they would then come over to IHOP, have a meal, and then go home. So it is insane. You're constantly, as you said, you're moving. It comes in waves. It is, let's see how many stacks of food I can put on my arm from your shoulder to the length of your hand, and then you usually need someone to stack them with you, and then you put them at the table. It gets pretty insane, and you can't really take a break, especially because you have tables that you are serving. So it's like, what are you going to be gone for 30 minutes? It doesn't really work out that way. Sometimes you can pass off the table or say, hey, can you check on my table for me?
But then you lose those tips too.
Yeah, it's complicated.
One thing that I hadn't thought of that really makes a lot of sense that I, got to see and experience was servers are given sections, right? So they only have like 3 tables at a time. So let's say 2 of those tables stand up and leave at the same time. You can't get sat 2 tables immediately. You have to space them out because you're sat 2 tables immediately. You can't serve them in a timely manner, like take their order, and now they're disgruntled and you're not going to get a good tip. So it's almost better to wait those 5 extra minutes, serve 1 table, then get sat another one and serve them. So it was just little things like that you would never think of, that I was like, wow, this makes so much sense now.
Yeah, we'd get pissed if the host double sat us. It's like, you fucking, we'd get so mad. Yeah, it's awful. The last thing you have on the Brocat block is the pumpkin medal. You covered it last week. What have you completed the requirement?
Did I get it in last week? Yeah. I just got it in. No, I didn't. I didn't get it in last week.
You did talk about it, though.
I said I was getting it. I actually got it, and it's cool, but I still haven't run the race. I am going to run it hopefully tomorrow, and I'll take a picture and post it up when I get it in, or when I finish, and I'll be all sweaty and gross and be like, yeah, pumpkin.
Very nice.
Pumpkin spice latte. Oh, one more thing did happen this week. This is a sad thing. My parents listened to the podcast.
Yeah, I guess they did hear the personalities that we have on here.
I told them not to do it. And then my mom waited.
You've told them for years, didn't you?
I've told them for years not to do it. They always say, oh, we should listen. No, Mom. No, you shouldn't listen. And then she waited till we were at lunch. And then she goes, I listened to your podcast. Farquad. I said, yeah, Mom, I told you not to listen to it. My dad really liked it. They both said that we sounded great. So That's nice. Thanks, Mom and Dad, if you're listening again. I love you. Sorry that you learned new things about your daughter.
With all of that out of the way, let's head into our thank yous for everyone that make the show possible for us, our Patreon shout-outs.
This week, we have 4 shout-outs. The first one goes out to at Innsmouth_Tide.
He retweeted the joke of Uncanny X-Men number 13 being $49.82. This is after the solicitation revealing that the 11th issue of Uncanny X-Men is gonna be $7.99 because, of course, Marvel says fuck you to comic shops and to consumers. This book is already a weekly. It's already a fucking weekly. How do you fucking order for a weekly?
You can't order for a weekly.
Almost every goddamn week, it's fucking Marvel. Every fucking week, we look at the orders and the final order cutoff. It's like, you have to order this much to qualify for. It's like, you fucking Marvel. Every fucking week.
I don't understand the joke of it being $49. Is that just because it's so overpriced anyway?
Well, fucking number 11, they're charging $7.99. Okay, so by the time they get to number 13, that issue's gonna be $49 fucking dollars. Just keep pushing the fucking price, I guess. There was that fucking Deadpool issue a few years back that was $9.99. Fucking assholes, man. You know how many of those comic shops got stuck with because the consumer, rightfully
like
so,
a million.
They'd go, no, I'm not going to pay that for that issue. It was like the 25th issue of Deadpool. And then, unfortunately, comic shops ate that fucking cost because Marvel does not do returnability.
B-chance.
B-champ Marvel.
B-chance. Our next shout out goes out to Elizabeth, whose Twitter handle is @eplifts.
She tweeted, quote, laying in bed and husband asks what I am thankful for. My reply, you, Silas, the dog, and Tom King writing Batman. Husband, did you say Tom King and Batman? It's my gratitude list. I can put Batman on it if I want to.
Hell yes you can. You put whatever you want on that list. I put Batman on my list. I'm thankful for Batman. I'm thankful for Vegeta. Put that on my list.
Did you see that Vegeta graphic? That
yes.
Chris Sabat. So Macy's had that Thanksgiving Day parade, and for the first time ever, I think, they had Goku as a balloon. Right? Fucking same goddamn parade as Pikachu.
I like how you said Macy's had that Thanksgiving Day parade as if it doesn't happen every year.
Well, I don't watch it, so it's that parade.
Macy's had its Thanksgiving Day parade. But yes, Goku was there, blue-haired Goku, floating around, doing his Goku thing.
And Sabat retweeted or put up the image of Vegeta saying he's looking forward to the Goku parade as well, and he has a slingshot with a rock that he had just thrown off at fucking Goku's face.
And he's deflating.
Vegeta's never gonna have a balloon, guys.
You just leave Vegeta alone. He doesn't need a balloon to feel special.
Then why is he blowing up the balloons?
Because fuck Goku.
He would, if it were really Vegeta, he'd create his own balloon that would defeat this other balloon.
And the sad thing is the Goku balloon would still defeat him. He would really have Bulma create a balloon that would defeat the Goku balloon. Poor Vegeta. What else are you thankful for? What would you put on your list that I could be surprised about and or mad?
What am I gonna fall in this fucking trap? No, I'm gonna fall in this trap.
It's not a trap.
No, we're gonna do the next
No,
picture.
go ahead. I want to hear what you're thankful for.
I don't have a list right now. I was not prepared for this.
We sound like such a married couple.
Next shout out goes out to Joshua T on Twitter @Drips1963.
Joshua put up a graphic of a New York, which superheroes protect which part of the city. So this included Watchmen in Manhattan, Daredevil in Hell's Kitchen, Miles Morales in Brooklyn, Spawn in Rat City, and more.
It was pretty neat to see the layout of New York and where the superheroes are. It just, of course, makes you think, so Rorschach may have ran into the Defenders at some point. And it's like, now I want to see that fucking story. But Disney does not want to play.
Of course not. That would be really cool. I mean, like a fan could make it.
Imagine
a what if.
There's also the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the sewer system.
That's so cool.
How about they run into Spawn? Let's see that fucking crossover.
You know, if this were real, New York would never have any crime because it's just mostly superheroes.
I think they'd fight each other, just running into each other, trying to stop these criminals.
Probably.
I mean, how many would stop Spawn?
Like
how many
nobody
would stop the Punisher? Well, they're murdering people, so these superheroes would have to put them away, too.
They would have to stop them. I wonder which superheroes would hang out in Florida. Even they would be like, no, this is crazy.
Probably, well, we know Starfire. Harley Quinn, maybe. Yeah. With Poison Ivy, they vacationed here.
They do.
Any superhero, probably Power Girl. Anyone that Jimmy and Amanda have written for,
they would all be in the Keys.
Yeah, all the time.
All be in the Keys. I did see, speaking of Florida, I'm going down a rabbit trail, sorry. There's some video game called Fall in London. Is that accurate?
I don't know.
Something called Fall. I think it's called Fall, whatever. And in there are cannibals, right? And they're talking about... Somebody tweeted out about how they were messy eaters or something, going on and on, talking about cannibals and how it was okay. But he abbreviated Fall in London as FL, so everybody thought it was Florida. And people were commenting, and they're like, and the worst part is, I'm from Florida. And I was just like, oh, this is news. Like, it's normal. And that was my reaction as well. So...
And last shout out this week goes out to Nick F. on Twitter at Jersey Whisperer and also on Twitter at Nick's Nerd News 1.
Nick went trick-or-treating as part of a Ghostbusters group. The youngest was a little Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
They fucking nailed that group.
Aww.
Good on them. That was an amazing little...
A little baby Stay Puft?
No, it was a little kid. Oh. But it was a little Stay Puft. Because if that's what you do, the biggest character has to be played by a little kid or a baby. Aww. And it was a great costume. All of them were great costumes.
That's amazing.
Nick's Nerd News channel, by the way, is on YouTube. If you search Nick's Nerd News, it will pop right up. Follow him on Twitter. Also, you will find a link in his profile. But every week, he does put up kind of like an abbreviated portion of news. Usually it's about 5 to 7 minutes long of everything that happened in comic, movie, and TV news. Every single week you get to see him. You get to see him like a kind of reporter style. And then he'll put up graphics and slides. It's really neat. So huge thanks to everyone, Nick, Joshua, Elizabeth, and at @insmouth_tide for the help on Patreon.
If you too would like to be a Patreon backer and get your shout out every single month, you can go to patreon.com/thereasonsimebroke for as little as $1 a month. That's only 25 cents an episode. You too can have your shout out.
That's right. I will go in and I will stalk your Twitter and or Instagram and or Facebook sometimes. And then you contribute to the news. You affect the show by becoming a Patreon member. Otherwise, we would not be talking about the New York sewer system or having Tom King on your Thanksgiving Day thankful list. So huge thanks again. That is going to be at patreon.com/thereasonsimbroke. And a huge thanks also to decalavenue.com, Jost, for helping out at the $5 reward tier.
And if you're not able to support us as a Patreon every single month, you have other ways you can support us. You can purchase a t-shirt, and then you get a nice new piece of clothing with our logo on it, various different logos to choose from. That's at thereasonsimbroke.com, and just click on merch.
That's right. You can go out and about, represent the Brokehead Core with a variety of designs. And right around this time, they're running an up to 30% off on TeePublic, which is where we host our t-shirts. So definitely check it out. If you have not seen the many Facebook and Instagram stories that I put up to remind everyone, hey, 30% is back up, definitely check it out on thereasonsimbroke.com. Just click on merch.
But with all of that out of the way, we can now move in to our comic book highlight, which is Archie number 700.
This issue is a jumping on point, so if you've not read the new direction of Archie, you can jump in with this one as written by Nick Spencer. So Mark Waid is no longer on the title, with art by Marguerite Salvage, who recently did the DC Bombshells online and eventually physical story. She did the artwork for it.
Like you said, this is definitely a turning point in the Archie story. If you didn't read what happened previously and you want to get caught up, issue 699 is actually just a recap of the entire thing. So you could pick up that one prior to this one, but it really feels like they're taking an entirely new direction with the change in art, with the change in story, and kind of setting out and doing their own things, bringing it closer to the Netflix show.
A little bit. Now, I don't want anyone that has read it before to get scared off by that, because by you saying in comics a new direction, that's like Rebirth. That's like the New 52, and it is not that. This is still the previous Archie run. This is still that same setting. All the things still happen that we got, and you still have the panels of him seemingly talking to the reader at points. Not as clear as Mark Waid used to, and not quite like the previous issues where you used to have old panels, which I do miss. But instead, there is going to be a mystery involved, which is what you were referring to as far as it being closer to Riverdale.
I mean, that, and they kind of changed the Jughead character, right? So now the Jughead character is writing, which is what he does in Riverdale.
Does he really?
Yeah. You don't remember? He's like writing, he's always talking to the audience and like researching things and writing, and yeah.
No, I don't remember that in the show.
Yeah, sure does it.
No, it's still cool though. Like it does fit in with what we previously read, and so far I'm all in on this new, I guess, direction that they're going in, on this new story, especially because on the cover you see it that there is another character that makes her appearance in the Archie universe. Hopefully this means that we're going to see that reflected on the TV side, who knows, but the way they set it up is how you wedge the characters that is Jughead and Archie and Veronica and Betty with introducing or reintroducing this character into this universe. And that gets me excited as like, who do I fucking root for now? It's going to depend on how this character treats Archie.
I'm still Archie and Betty all the way.
I'm still Archie and Veronica, but I will consider this third option.
No, I say no. I think it's shady business.
Is she the worst of the three?
Yes, I think it's shady business. I don't trust her.
So who would you rather Archie be with, Veronica or this other character?
Veronica.
Oh, okay, cool. I agree too.
But I'd rather him be with Betty over all the other things because, again, I think this one is shady business. I don't trust her. I think she has him fooled.
We're going to have to read and find out. Find out what happens.
They're not going to stay together.
Well, no, but maybe not. He doesn't stay together with any of them. That's the whole thing with Archie.
He should just get together with Jughead and just be done with it. Just be like, Betty, Veronica, new girl. I'm gay.
I remember Mark Waid said that that's not something they were ever going to do, because he's like, yeah, we're going to modernize it, but that doesn't mean that like Jughead's black now and Archie's gay and all this. And he was just saying that they're bringing it to the modern technology, and some of the issues that might happen today are going to reflect in some of these Archie issues. And I think that's what's contributed also to the success of this, because you do get some pretty heavy kickback from the longtime readers whenever there is a major change like that. In this case, it has worked out really well for them. They have attracted new readers without changing the core of the characters drastically. And I think that's why we are now in legacy numbering up to issue 700 of Archie.
I think this direction was a new change for them. I will say I don't like the art as much as I did previously, especially Archie's design. I'm not a fan. His lips look funny.
Yeah, I think Margaret does draw women better than she does males, but it didn't jar me out of the story too much. I was like, all right. I was already a fan of her work, though, so I was all right with it. I think she did adapt well to the previous artwork that we got. So the lighter use of palette, the lighter colors. I took several pictures of some panels that I will eventually share on our accounts. So I'm happy with it overall. I'm excited to read issue 701. That was our comic book highlight for the week. I do want to say, since we have to, I'm not going to do a full-on review of this movie, but I did see, just to quickly touch on it, since this is we have a little bit of time still, is I did see Fantastic Beasts 2, The Crimes of Grindelwald. And the one joke that we made, I think 2 weeks ago, of Dumbledore and Jude Law and Johnny Depp need to kiss. Are they going to go into that relationship at all? And this isn't a major spoiler, because if you're a Harry Potter fan, you know that they are in a relationship. And the movie does give us hints of that. They make it very clear that the two characters, or at least Dumbledore, is gay for Grindelwald. And I know fans have speculated, like, has he... is Grindelwald using him even from the beginning? Is he being manipulated, or do they actually love each other? But in this movie, there is enough to say, yes, there is a relationship between Jude Law and Johnny Depp. They made Johnny Depp lose some weight, so it's not overweight Johnny Depp like in the first Fantastic Beasts. But there are still 3 movies after this, so we may yet get... You won't get the 2 older men kissing in this, but you may get it. It's set it up in this movie for the next 3.
Do you think it would be like right after he kills him or he's about to kill him and he's like, I always loved you. And then they have to kiss.
I hope so.
And then that's it.
They need to kiss as old. You said they're not going to do it.
No,
right? That
I
was
don't
your
think
stance.
they're going to do it.
that, but my thing was they're going to kiss as Dumbledore has to kill him.
Yeah, but maybe like their younger selves, you'll see that in a flashback or something.
You do see them holding hands as younger kids.
But you're not going to see... You do you really think Johnny Depp would ever like kiss another guy in a movie? Really?
He needs money. You saw how the last Pirates did? He was on perfume ads. Like I went to my parents and I saw him on a perfume ad.
No way.
Yes.
What perfume?
I don't know.
I'm going to buy it. It's called like weird ass perfume.
It's something French. I don't know. But he was on an ad. He needs the money. He will kiss Jude Law.
No perfume ad is better than the girl from Twilight, Kristen Stewart.
Oh, the commercial.
Yes.
That was playing at the mall and you had to stop and look at the ad. Like I haven't seen this in a while. Running.
It's been a year since I've seen that. Leo and I watched Hulu every day for 4 months, and that commercial was on at least 7 times.
So you got into a cycle.
Yes, and I was just mesmerized by it because her face is so emotionless, even though she's supposed to be breaking free into this new world, thanks to her perfume. She just didn't care. She was being born.
I mean, isn't that the joke with her?
Yes.
Like with her acting?
Yes.
She's kind of flat.
Kind of. She's very flat. Yes.
DC Belugas have been saying the same with Brie Larson, and the Marvel sheep have been saying, how do you guys criticize this? Like, how dare you say it? It's like, you don't get it. It's treat Marvel like you treat DC.
Right.
So we're exaggerating the criticisms, like, look at her, she doesn't smile. And that's a play off of Superman. Because they kept saying, Superman's not smiling, he's Superman. It's like, oh, your characters do, right? Well, how come she's not smiling? How come she's not cracking jokes? What's going on, guys? So that reminds me, there was another thing too where, so now we're exaggerating yet again the jokes by saying, and it's playing off of the whole flat performance thing of Kristen Stewart, of there's now reshoots for Captain Marvel going on. And so we're like, oh, let's treat it like DC. What are they doing? They don't know what they're doing. They're doing reshoots. They should be in special effects portion right now. They should not be doing reshoots. And there was one shot of her doing reshoots and she's smiling. It's like they're adding those smiles in there because of criticism. They don't know what they're doing. So it's, and yet again, the Marvel sheep fell for it. Like, hold on, how come you guys are saying this but defending the Superman thing?
Why are you saying this?
It's like, again, you're not fucking getting it. This is all exaggerating what you guys fucking do every goddamn time. The war continues. The jokes
war will continue forever. Like, Leo's going to be a grown-ass man, and you're just going to be still talking about that war, and he'll be like...
war.
He'll be like, Dad, we made peace years ago when they did that team-up movie.
All you fucking nerds were whining and shit about those movies with the superheroes and spandex or something. They weren't spandex. They had armor on. It was cool.
Kevlar. We were cool back then.
Kind of gay, Dad. You couldn't say that back then either.
That wasn't okay.
I hope for this day.
I think it'll be a great day when he's just like really dead.
I don't know why I imagine myself in like a hospital bed, like it's that long, like in the future. It's like the bubble's gonna burst soonish.
What would make it even better is if like Leo marries someone whose father is an MCU sheep, and then the two of you could just hate it. Like it can be a family rivalry for years.
Was it the Capulets and the what?
And the Montagues. Yeah. Yes, it'll be like Romeo and Juliet, but with DCU and MCU.
The Belugas v. the sheep. It's pretty bad sometimes.
I mean,
pretty
it
bad
can
sometimes,
be.
But it's fun.
I've gotten into plenty of these arguments myself.
I think that's all we got, though. I think this is it, Brocat Core.
I think that's it.
That is lighter news week, as we said. We got a little bit of Dumbledore and Grindelwald, so you got that. So if you're going to go see Fantastic Beasts 2, which I will say, like, quick summary, I'm not going to do a full review on it. If you like the first one, you'll like the second one. I thought the first one was just okay. I thought the second one was just okay. So take that as you will. It's not a major change. It's a continuation. There's more mysteries that kind of get set up. More answers you get answers to questions you may have had from the first one. So, and that is the rest of it for the news this week.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in this week and every single week. I am Emperor Palpicali.
And I am Darth Vader Daniel.
I'm Brocat Core. All will be well.